Welcome y'all to my channel. It's me, Razzie. If you don't know me, what's up? Nice to meet you. Hope you stick around. Today's video is going to be all about the Saturn return. What is it and how does it express itself in every sign? So I'll be going through Aries through Pisces and talking about Saturn in the signs. But first, let's just get straight in to what is a Saturn return. Well, first of all, a Saturn return is when transiting Saturn, meaning as it's moving in the sky, reaches the exact position by sign and degree to where it was at the moment of your birth. Meaning, you need to look at your natal chart. If you have never looked at your natal chart, why are you looking up astro videos? You need to go to astro.com, Cafe Astrology, one of those, right, .com, and plug in your information. You need your time of birth, and then get your natal charts. Then we're going to be looking at Saturn, what sign it's in, and what degree it is. So basically, just to start, Saturn return will happen anywhere from 28 to 29 years old, or it can happen within that 28, 29 to 30, 33 range, right? It can happen anytime then, but usually it's going to happen closer to 29, 30, right when you're hitting that mark. Now, it also happens every 29 years. So Saturn takes 29 years to transit the whole orbit of the zodiac, to go around the sun, right? A bit of a long time. So you're going to have one at 29 roughly, and then you'll have another one at 50 roughly, right? So 30, 50, those are the ages that you're going to be feeling these themes come up. So yeah, anytime a planet returns to the degree and sign it is in your chart, it's kind of like a birthday for that planet, right? Because it's going back to the day that you were born. But what are the themes of Saturn and what makes this different, right? Saturn return is talked about a lot because of the fact that it's such a monumental point in our growth, going from what we think we are as an adult in your 20s to actually becoming an adult, right? And really becoming self-governing, because before 30, regardless of how much accomplishment you have had in your life, if you make it to 30, God willing, then you are now at a place where you could have done a lot or you could have done nothing. And still, you're going to get hit with a new shift in your life, a new chapter change. You're going to get hit with responsibilities. At this time, it's kind of like realizing that you are your own God, but then realizing what that means, because having all that power over your life also means you have an impact on the world around you. Also means you have responsibilities that go beyond yourself, but most importantly, yourself. There is no one that is going to come save you. There's no one that's going to rescue you. Do you want a good relationship? Do you want good finances? Do you want a house? Do you want kids? All of these things take work, and work is the big staple of what Saturn represents. So Saturn is a no-nonsense dry planet, and so we have this dry energy, right? Not dramatic, not colorful, very black and white. And it's either you're doing it or you're not. And if you're doing it, you get a result. And if you're not doing it, well, you don't get a result. Now, let's talk about how in ways you can be accomplished before you're 30. You can be financially stable. You can have set goals for yourself and really put in the work for those goals. But do those goals represent your true authenticity, your true self? Do those goals, the way that you got it, did it have integrity? Did you have integrity in your movements to get to that point? That's a big one, because Saturn rules Capricorn. It also used to rule Aquarius, but it still has so much of that. You can still feel how Saturn rules Aquarius, even though we now associate Uranus with Aquarius, only because throughout the ages, eventually they started recognizing Uranus, because you can't really see it with your naked eye. You had to find it in a telescope. But anyway, so let's talk about that Capricorn and Aquarius vibe, right? Capricorn is about success. It's about climbing the ladder. It's about working for it. It's about being a boss. But also, there's a low vibration to Capricorn energy and a higher vibration. So if you have integrity, things might take longer, which also Saturn kind of shows you that things take time, right? Saturn rules over time. The very thing that we're bound to on this planet, because in reality, time is only expressed through this third and like fourth dimensional reality, in my opinion. Some people will say it stops at the third and the fourth is something that we don't experience, but to my understanding of dimensions and my innate channeling abilities, we experience life in the 4D, especially now, right? And we can see how time confines us to the 3D reality. Although inside of our brain, we are not confined to time, right? We can think of any time. We can put ourselves in the future. We can worry about the future. We can worry about the past. And it has nothing to do with this structure that our physical body is bound to. Like, we are born and yeah, we're gonna die. So what are we gonna do with our time here? Saturn wants to know. Saturn wants to know how hard you work at the things you truly believe in, right? At the things that actually represent who you are. So that's very much Aquarius, because Aquarius is about authenticity, individualism. So we see that our personality and, you know, the strangest parts, not the parts when we're trying to be a part of the group, right? Be a part of the masses and go along with the trends. When we are just left alone by ourselves, isolation Aquarius, when we're left alone by ourselves, what is it that we actually do work on? What is it that we are desiring to be a part of, right? What kind of shows are we watching? What kind of art are we creating? So point being with all of this is that if you have not understood your authentic self or lived your authentic path, or if you have gained a lot but you haven't done it with the most integrity, once again aligned with your authenticity, but also like, are you doing good business in the world? You know, you could be successful and have a lot of money, but did you have to scam people for that money? Did you have to hurt others? Or were you conscious about being a part of the whole? Were you conscious about how your actions not only give you what you want, but also, like, you know, affect other people? Did you have to take it from someone, or did you earn it? You know what I mean? And when you earn it, you can earn it in a bad way. So what will happen is Saturn return comes around and shit changes, right? Your life will start to go through different Saturnian hard turmoil experiences in order to get you back on your true path, in order to get you to understand that you can't just go out in the world and take everything without thinking about everyone, and how, you know, whether or not what you're doing is in a way has a righteous tone. You don't have to be 100% righteous, but you do have to be conscious and aware. And that's what your Saturn return does for you. It puts you in this place of complete awareness of yourself, awareness of others, awareness of your now godlike responsibilities, that in creating a world for yourself, for your future family, or your family that you have, or your friends, or whatever, that you have to think about, you know, the birds and the bees. You have to think about the trees. You have to think about the little guy and the big guy. And it isn't this quest for success that stops at nothing, right? You will get a huge wake-up call if you've been ignoring who you really are and how to be a integral person in this society, in this world. even if your goal is to create a new society, but are you rebelling just to rebel and you don't care who you bring down? You know what I mean? These are the concepts that you are going to get faced with. You may lose it all. Or if you have been doing those things, if somehow you maybe have a lot of Saturnian influence in your chart, then your whole life, like I have Saturn on my moon, right? So if you have a very close contact to Saturn with a personal planet, then you will definitely be feeling that responsibility and that awareness of time your whole life. So it might put you in a place where things are slower, and then when you hit your Saturn return, things pick up. Things start to happen, endings and beginnings, maybe big beginnings for you, right? Maybe you're finally now able to be financially independent, or you're having a child like I am. And I am 30 this year. I'm going to turn 31. So I am at the tail end of my Saturn return, because Saturn is with Aquarius in my chart at 0 to 2 degrees, right? So what's interesting for me is, not to make this about me, but I had my exact Saturn return on the Great Conjunction. Y'all remember the Great Conjunction? What year was that? 2020, right? When the world went a little crazy and haywire. Well, it was like things were coming together for me that year. And it was because I followed my path. I quit my job that I was working for, this startup company at the time, but I've had other temporary jobs or part-time jobs or whatever, because I've never personally, because I have Saturn on my moon, I've never personally put myself in the quest for money and success without thinking about what kind of mental toll it was going to take on me. So I had quit a job right before the pandemic started, and then I started getting blessed, right, with opportunities that a lot of people at that time during the pandemic were having the very reverse life, right? Being hit with the reality of slowing down. Well, for me, slowing down was always a part of my life. So when my Saturn return came, it was like, okay, yes, this is hard, but here, we're going to give you hope. We're going to show you, and we're going to feed you slowly amounts that you can handle of success, amounts that as long as you keep putting in the work, you'll get more and more of. And so I now am in this state of much more control over my life, but at the same time, I am, like all people in your Saturn return, you should be going with the changes. You shouldn't try to stop the changes, right? You should never really try to stop the changes, but in this case, the more you try to hold on to whatever attachments, whatever sources are feeding you, whatever sources are, making your life easier, if those things are like on the way out, you need to just let it go. You need to let a lot go during your Saturn return. And if you can really let it go, the lessons are still intense or dry. Once again, if we're going back to that Saturn kind of, maybe not even intense, tough, right? It's just tough. There's not a lot of like, let me hug you and hold you. Remember, Saturn rules Capricorn, not Cancer. So you're not going to get the, it's okay, baby, we're going to see you through this type of energy. You're going to get the very opposite, where it's like, I don't really have anyone to comfort me right now except for myself. And I have to just keep going. I have to keep putting in that work, So you are going through a big finding yourself, especially the first Saturn return when you hit like your 30s, because our brains, well, for men, their brains are still, or just become developed. And then for everyone, right, for women, you're still also developing your individual sense of style, your sense of who you want to be, you know what I mean? So this goes for everyone. You went through all these years of thinking you were an adult, right? Going like, I'm going to be 18 and I'm going to do what I want. Doing what you want, that is the childish way of looking at being an adult. Because we were always able to do what we want, but we don't really know what we want. And so through your 20s, by doing what you want all the time, you learn what you want and what you don't want. Like I said, it could be in terms of relationships, in terms of just partying and drinking and doing drugs, and you're learning like, all right, this life is not for me, or whatever the case may be. Then your Saturn return comes around and you start to realize, okay, I can do whatever I want. That doesn't mean I need to go out and do it all. I need to be more conscientious. I need to be a little bit more strict with myself. I need to make bigger decisions. And all of that is going to happen around this time. So, okay. I'm going to leave that with y'all. And I am now going to go through the signs. I'm going to start with Aries. If you have a Saturn in Aries, then for you, your energy is about going off on your own in some big way, right? Now, I don't know the rest of your chart, but just a Saturn and Aries person, when they hit their Saturn return, they're going to realize that they have to do something new. They have to gain a even bigger sense of independence. So they have to break away from the norm and figure out, it could even be just, if you're a Saturn Aries, you're with a family that expected you to be a doctor, of course, right? That kind of story, or a lawyer or whatever. And then you reach your Saturn return and you maybe even became a doctor or a lawyer, but you're like, have this nagging feeling that you just want to like drop it all and start a fashion line, right? You want to make your own business, or like you want to go save the animals on the other side of the planet, right? And you want to take a job that pays less or do something risky like that. As a Saturn in Aries, what am I saying? As a Saturn in Aries, you're going to find that during your Saturn return, things are going to happen to force you to make those decisions, right? Force you to go at it on your own, in your own way, without getting the guidance of anyone else, without looking for advice or support, being able to risk it. Maybe you do have a partner, maybe they're willing to go with you too, but there's this still sense of like, I could be losing all that I've gained with everyone around me and with everything that I've had to do, but I have to be on my own, right? Or I have to make this big breakup with this person because, you know, I was with them all throughout my 20s, and now going into my 30s, it just doesn't feel right, and I have to honor that. So for Saturn Aries, you are truly understanding that you can always reinvent yourself, and there's a big time to work through this reinvention, right? It is a transformation, of course, but it's like you really do have to start from scrapping it all, regardless of what it is, and then truly tap into your soul and find a new character trait that you want to become for this next 29-year cycle, right? Until the next one. So that's just a little on Saturn and Aries. Let's talk about Saturn and Taurus. So this has a lot to do with, of course, security, right? If you have a Saturn in Taurus, for a long time, you could have been trying to gain this security in your life, but then having to rely on others. And now you're finding that there are these huge decisions around what kind of big financial investments to make, where to put your money. And then even outside of your money, like, are you living your life according to your actual values? Are you allowing yourself to use all that talent in, you know, the endurance that you have with work for something that just isn't really allowing you to live that lifestyle that you deserve, right? This is all about getting into an energy where you understand what it takes for you personally to be secure, because it might not just be money and financial, right? It could truly be like expressing your sensuality, or getting in tune with your feminine energy, or masculine energy, and really letting that kind of guide you. You could have grown up in a scenario that didn't allow you to be that sensual human being, but now you have to explore. And now you have to really get out of the comfort zone to gain security. So it's funny because it's like, if you're a Saturn in Taurus, you cannot make a decision that just feels right, because it's not going to put you in a uncomfortable scenario. Saturn returns are uncomfortable, so you have to gain your own security. You cannot rely on anyone else. You will, even if, like for the Saturn and Aries person, they can have someone still funding them somehow, but they might just not be with that person and have their help. Saturn and Taurus is like, no one else can fund you. You have to take out a loan now. You know what I mean? This is your time where you've been playing for all of this, but now you have to take a bigger jump or risk. And yeah, you have to take out that loan and put the down payment on that house. You need to clean up your credit now, right? You need to take that serious, because you could have been one to just give yourself all the luxury, but not be really good with money, or you're good with money, you're just not being disciplined with it, right? So learning how money can even give security to the other people around you. Are you able to hold it down for others? It's not necessarily your responsibility for just anyone, but you're gonna find yourself in a position to be the grounding rock force of other people's lives as well. So what you gain is very important to the other people around you, and how you're able to also help them, how you're able to like motivate others in a sense to get more serious about their lives, right? And really put in that work, because you already can put in work, but you are gonna have to make sure that you also slow down and you're not burning out. So there's this big like Saturn in Taurus people around your Saturn return might just get a big slowdown. It could be in your health as well, and you're just like, whoa, something's happening, I can't work right now. What is this trying to tell me, right? You have to find that healthy balance of having the security, not just completely on your own independent like Aries, but knowing that you have to like get the support of others. It probably won't be financial, but if it is, because like let's say you just have a big thing about like doing it for yourself, then it could be in that way where you're like, all right, I'm sick, I need my mom or my cousin or my boyfriend or girlfriend to truly take care of me, because I can't necessarily take care of myself right now, so I need to slow down. And in that slowing down process, you understand the family that you're building. So there is kind of two ways you can go about it. You can just be like completely, but still all this rest is for you to then go out there and make a bigger material move, right? That now is not just for you in a way where it separates you from everyone else. You are still building family, and there's a lot of security within family as well. Who is your family? You're figuring that out. You know, a lot of family relationships could be dying, and you're gonna have to let that go. But you're calling in, you're opening space for all this other help that is emotional and that is beautiful. But you have to be there. You got to get out of the stubborn ways of going about work for you, whatever that means for you. Okay, let's go to Saturn and Gemini. So Saturn and Gemini, like, you could have had a lot of restriction around your communication when you were younger. Not a lot of people maybe give you the time of day to like say what you felt, or when you said what you felt, you could feel like, you know, you're being a little bit too much of the class clown. Maybe you're getting made fun of instead of people actually enjoying your humor. When you get to your Saturn return, you have to learn how to speak the truth no matter what, because what you're saying has such an impact on other people. What you're thinking cannot be held back in your mind. You cannot repress your truth. You can't repress how you're really looking at the scenario. You can't repress what you really want to say. And that is going to end a lot of things in your life. It can even bring a lot of like backlash and energy from like the collective. Let's say you're doing this like online. You're finally like, fuck it, I'm gonna tell people about, you know, these theories that I believe, and then you see that people are like, whoa, you're crazy, right? So that Kanye Gemini moment, you kind of have to embrace that. And if you're repressing it, it will come out anyway, but it will come out in a way where you can't necessarily control it. It could look a little bipolar. So we're trying to get a handle of the impact of your words, knowing that your words are gonna hurt people, they are gonna help people. So being sure about what you say, but not necessarily so closed that that's it. It's about learning how to truly have the conversation, right? Be open to lighten the mood for people. When you see like you can and you have that power, you can use your powers wisely, and you're going to start to gain that impact of the conversation, you're going to gain the awareness of how powerful it is, this talent that you have. And you do have to use this talent wisely. Maybe it's like in your Saturn return, you start realizing like, I need to get all these ideas out on a book, and I need to give it to others in that way. You know what I mean? And I need to start to get on stage more and like, you know, be a comedian. Saturn and Gemini could like truly then blossom in that Saturn return time of expressing themselves on a stage, and or like I said, on the internet, and finding the right community. Because until you start truly being truthful with everyone around you and allowing the communities and the people to fall away that don't actually connect with you, then you start to open up to a real community. You start to build a real community for yourself of opportunities, of friends, of acquaintances that allow you to be yourself, allow you to express yourself, and then you start to like get into that mode where you can create so many things from that point. So keep that in mind, Saturn and Gemini. Now we are in Saturn in Cancer. So this has a lot to do with boundaries, right? Saturn in Cancer is the one who will self-sacrifice as if it's their job. They take on a lot of that. And when you hit your Saturn return, you gotta be stricter with the generosity. You gotta be stricter with the nurturing. You gotta be stricter with, it's a lot of self-love, right? You're gonna go through this like time where you might get rocked into and pushed into this place that feels worse, just to force you to start to love yourself, right? So all of the fake love, it's definitely going to end in the Saturn return. That can leave you feeling like completely alone for a little while, but it's for you to gain a true protective aura. Like a Saturn in Cancer, you definitely are going to have to learn how to understand your emotions without completely giving it all away or taking on others' emotions. Like you're going to have to close that door for a little while to separate your emotions from others. To understand that, you know, like a Cancer, like the mom energy, you're here for your kids, right? But in this Saturn return, you're here for your inner child. And you're going to be healing that inner child in some sort of bigger sense, but it is going to take forceful and not so nice decisions, right? That you're going to have to make, is probably intensely with the closest family to you, right? Or let's say you've had a partner for a very long time that was sick and you've been helping them forever, and around this time you might feel like I actually have to help myself right now. So we're gonna have to figure out a way how to transition out of this thing, regardless of whether that means you leave the partner or not. That's not what I'm saying, you know, but it's like you can realize that you have been not feeding your own soul, not feeding your own self to where you'll lose that love, and you can find so much insecurity and so much emotional turmoil. But you will get over the emotional turmoil as soon as you start setting those boundaries so that you can actually sit alone and cry it out and realize how strong you truly are, realize how important you are and how much of a healer you are. Because Saturn and Cancer, it's like you have to work at your healing abilities, but you got to start charging for it, right? That's basically where your Saturn return will show you, like, it's time to charge. It's not time to do this for free anymore. So we'll move on from Cancer. Let's go to Saturn in Leo expression, right? Well, and I just said it, expression. So that is the name of the game for Saturn and Leo. It is knowing that the spotlight, or maybe it was never really something that you thought was comfortable getting the attention, but there's a part of a lesson, right, around learning how to gain attention and learning how to create, how to, and whatever you're creating and whatever you're expressing, you're also leading in some sort of way. So being comfortable with being a leader, right? It could be like you get this really big promotion and now you have a whole team and you really need to motivate this team and you really need to show up for them, and you're not just showing up for yourself and they're looking to you to figure it out, or not maybe like completely figure it out, but at least show up with that courage, right? So you will be in a way working on courage, and so you can get thrusted out into some sort of scenario where you have to rely on your confidence. And so confidence building and being strong with whatever it is that you're creating. If you're an artist with Saturn and Leo and you've always kept your art to yourself, this is your time where you might get forced to put it out there for others to see, and learn how to deal with the criticism and not blow up, right? Learn how to not take that personally. So there's a big thing for Saturn and Leo now going into their adulthood, that they're learning not to take things personally, how to lead a group with also not like falling into the shadows by continuously in a way selling who you are to the world, right? Being really proud of whatever it is, whatever skills you've acquired, even if you don't really think you're good enough. You have to learn how to be larger than life and continue to be larger than life in all of your scenarios. So you will be pushed to do that in some sort of way. Now let's go to Saturn in Virgo. So Saturn in Virgo, for y'all, it's all about learning at this time in your Saturn return how to flow, how to stop being so ridiculously hard on yourself that you almost hate your life and hate what's happening because there's only pessimism there, right? So there's a need to really drop the little details of reality, because you're already so good at so many things, especially having a Saturn in Virgo, meaning you've had to really learn how to be of service to others without caring about what kind of came in return, because it truly does give you something, but being so good at it, right? Or just being really good at a craft. And it's not like Leo where you have to show the world your craft, but this is like you have to know how to go with the flow of your everyday. Things cannot be perfect. You might get so rocked in your Saturn return with whatever was almost perfect coming all the way down, and just learning to navigate the chaos with ease and with love, and by just being like, it is what it is, adopt that quality. It is what it is. It's okay. And you can continue to figure out how you help the world in a much more way where you're also helping yourself daily, right? You're helping yourself daily by not always taking on so much responsibility, but when you do take on the responsibility of giving someone else something or doing a service, taking care of your own health, like same kind of similar to Taurus, right? You could be like needing to take care of your own health because you're realizing now that because of the fact that you work so hard at all these other things, you have you just eat junk food when you're at home all day, right? Because it brings you comfort. You just are like, I don't care about me, I don't care about my body, I care about everybody else's body, right? Working in healthcare or being a chef. And so you kind of like neglect that, right? You're neglecting your daily practice. So of course you're going to have to, Saturn Virgo, adopt a better schedule, but that schedule isn't like 1 a.m. I do this, 2 a.m. I do this, 3 a.m. I do this. No, it's more like on these mornings I work, and then for the rest of the day I just leave it up to where the wind takes me. It's kind of really learning how to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna have playtime. And it's so funny to say that's your hardest lesson as a Saturn Virgo, but it's like you're so conscious about how much you're accumulating, how much you're doing, and you need to be aware of the fun, and you need to stop analyzing so much. So things will happen in your life to force you to stop analyzing, because it won't make any sense, right? This is going to be a very illogical time for you, where most of your life you've been like, everything makes sense, this is logical. Even if it's going wrong and it's chaos, you know how to navigate through the chaos in a logical way. This time, there's no logical way to navigate the chaos. It's just chaos. Just embrace it. You're going to find yourself much more refined on the other side. So let's go to Saturn in Libra, which is all about compromise. And you may find that you just have compromised so much that, yes, you can be that big people pleaser that people like to say Libras are, or that you have put so much attention in becoming so good and finally attuned at truly understanding other people and giving them such great, aha moments, but then in your own relationships, it's bad, right? In your own relationships, you're not having those aha moments for yourself, and you don't know what to do. So in your Saturn return, learning how to not compromise with others, but how to make sure other people compromise with you. Making sure that people meet you halfway in everything, in work, right? In personal relationships and family relationships, in just like the meeting with the chance encounter with someone as you're walking in the park or in the grocery store, the bank teller. You need to be able to figure out how is it that other people also benefit you. And it's not, with Saturn and Libra, you're already in a sense gonna be so selfless that it's okay to learn selfishness, right? It's okay to, and then at the same time, having to work with people that maybe it also seems like it's very hard to work with. And maybe in a way you'd be like, no, I'll never do that. But completely having to compromise with someone in a way that shows you that this, this person or this opportunity isn't so bad or scary or whatever the case may be, you can just go that halfway mark, stay there, and then trust me, it's gonna work out, right? Or you find such new things about yourself because you're on this journey now of not just learning the other person, but truly getting to know yourself. And also, in a way, like Aries, reinventing yourself. But this is like truly reinventing the relationships by becoming a different kind of partner. Do you get what I'm saying? This is not like completely on your own independent. You are now taking on a different character when you're in partnership with others. So it could be like a switch up like this where you hit your Saturn return and whoever you're in a relationship with is like, well, you're different, you're changing, you this, you that, and you just kind of have to be like, yeah, right? And maybe all your relationship change from that point, or maybe that person can like kind of go with the flow with you and meet you halfway. Either way though, you're going to change. It's okay to change. It's okay to be selfish. Remember that, Saturn and Libra. Now let's go to Saturn and Scorpio. Saturn and Scorpio. So you are here to develop a sense of trust, to truly let go of paranoia, and to not only trust the universe and what it's bringing to you, but trust your own gut. And but you need to, like in your Saturn return, what's going to happen for you is you're going to start to go through things that show you where you're just like obsessively paranoid and you're obsessively ruminating on something and you think you're so right, you think your intuition is so on point, and then it's like, no, actually that person that you felt all those bad vibes from, you're like, yeah, they're not so bad. Actually, I was avoiding a relationship with this person because they just reminded me of like my father, or like they reminded me of my abuser, right? But then you actually like, they're nothing like that person because something happens where you're forced to get to know somebody or a situation that you're really kind of scared of, and you're like trying to be closed off from. You have to be more open, right? So Saturn and Scorpio is going to learn how to be open to life, open to dropping the trauma and giving everything a fair chance, right? Trusting what you see when you see it, not because it just comes into your mind, which will give you a clearer channel, a clearer way in trusting your intuition, because your intuition can be almost a little scarred because of the scars of your past. So it's about understanding where you're working off of something that isn't true, something that hurt, to where you can be working from a place of true purity, right? So this is a time where you're getting purer in your energy, but you definitely have to uncover some things in yourself, uproot some things, and you have to be able to be so open that, you know, you're able to even just go inside and check yourself, right? And then for those who like don't trust their intuition at all as a Saturn and Scorpio, you're just learning how to trust your intuition instead of like, you know, that gut feeling that for you've ignored, where it's like, this person is bad. It's the same scenario, but this time it's like, you might be a person to go, no, this person's not bad. Like, it's okay. But your intuition was always on point. You just never listened to it. So it can go either way, right? And you're going to go through experiences that put you through that. Yes, they will be intense. Yes, there will be lots of deaths and rebirths. Maybe literally, but maybe just figuratively, right? With your own spirit and soul. So don't try to be like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst time. Remember, you just have to be open to the experience. You have to trust the process. You have to trust yourself that, like, you know, this is, although you may feel so much, it's actually not as extreme when you look back, right? When you look back to some of the times that hurt so much from your early 20s, it's like, that relationship wasn't that bad, but I just blew it up out of proportion when I was in it because, you know, I felt like this was it. This is my whole world. You're going to learn how to drop that part of you because things change, things move on. So Saturn in Sagittarius now. You are going to get challenged with your beliefs during your Saturn return. And you may be, you know, put in a scenario in a very different culture around the world, or have to work somewhere that you're just not used to at all, and your whole belief system could get rocked. You could have been in a position where, you know, you thought the world was good and righteous, and now you're learning like, oh, evil people run this world, and I have to now wake up to that fact, right? So it's a big kind of like waking up in your beliefs, waking up in, because you could have been like in a tight Christian family and your whole life, and then realize that like, oh, what is God? What is Jesus? What is all of this? What is religion? And go through this time where maybe like you're gay in a very religious household, but now you have to like come out the closet with your own beliefs and say, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, and I'm gonna go out in the world and look for my place wherever it may be. And I'm, you know, not come at it with hatred in your heart. You're gonna have to learn how to still love everyone for their beliefs, but also be okay with if you're not loved for them, right? So you will be able to impact others in such a big way by, once again, being your authentic self, but really challenging. You will get challenged through what it is that you think is true and not true. You'll even learn that beliefs are just a matter of, you know, what we condition ourselves into, and they're not necessarily true or not true. Saturn in Capricorn, and we're almost done. So Saturn in Capricorn, when we're talking about success and what that means to you, you know, it could be as simple, because remember, Saturn rules Capricorn, so it could be as simple as you were just looking to take care of your family and figure out how to make the most money very soon in your life. And, you know, whatever path you chose could have just not worked. It could have just been temporary or surface, didn't have that integrity. And so now you have to redo that, right? You still have the same ability to go start a business, but you have to like take a risk again in your Saturn return to do something that feels more like true to your actual value system, true to your integrity, true to what kind of boss do you really want to be. And you have to truly reinvent what success means to you, because success doesn't always mean like the amount of money in your you know, bank account. It might not even be like, for a man, you know, you could have this idea of success being I provide for my family, but you have a family now and you're not providing as much as you thought you would at this point, and you have to kind of like take a few steps back and be like, okay, but what really is success? Us being happy, you know, the wife or the family or whoever, the community may have the resources you need. And even though you're not the one providing it, you have to realize that the success is in being able to enjoy that community, being able to enjoy the family and see the kids grow up and know that you have everything you need when you need it. So it's okay to go bankrupt because you have the fortitude to make that money again. You will never not be in that provider role forever, but there will be stages of your life, especially during Saturn returns, where you might have to be like, I am not as successful as I want to be in this current moment, or as I thought. And then once again, redo success, really reprogram success for you, what it means to be, you know, a boss in your life and have that like confidence of like, yeah, I did that. You know what I mean? Like, I worked for that. What have you worked for? And what have you received? Be grateful for what you have received. That's going to be like gratefulness, success. Those are the things you're going to be thinking about and having to step up to understanding truly for this next chapter of your life. Now, Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius. Yes, Saturn Aquarius moon right here. So when you're in your Saturn return, you're going to feel like, okay, I have to truly believe in my ability to revolutionize the world, right? And whatever that means for you, it could be meant, like for me, it's a lot with revolutionizing people's mental sense or understanding, and showing them the truth, but also the connectedness of all of us together. But in order to do that, I have to share my crazy ideas. I have to broadcast myself. So you might find yourself needing to now step up to the plate to broadcasting. And maybe if you already were and you have like a whole collective around you, you might find that what you want to teach your collective, right? What you want to give to them is different, and you have to now step up to that. Be more of your stranger self, because we are strange aliens. Yes, we are. So, you know, really getting into a space where you teach what the future really looks like, and you are revolutionizing something, right? Really redoing the foundation of this world. But you have to also live it. So in Saturn and Aquarius, what's going to happen is, like, when your Saturn return comes, you're going to have to step up to the plate of this story that you've told for yourself that you want to see the world doing, and you have to live that life, right? So you have to really truly also be the example. You have to be shameless about what you want to say and give to others, and you have to be disciplined, which is also Saturn energy. You have to be disciplined in how you give that. Like, I'm trying to do more and more content creation now, regardless of whether you feel like you really are truly, you really know or not. You know there's something, you know, and there's something you have to now master in that knowing and the broadcasting of that knowing. So keep that in mind, Saturn in Aquarius. Now, Saturn in Pisces. This one is about coming back down to earth, right? Coming into reality. For a Saturn in Pisces in their Saturn return, you are learning that, of course, for you, the imagination is vast. You can build a lot in the imagination, but now we're going to have to start to really get ourselves in tune with building in real life, creating some artwork, not escaping the intensity or the darkness around. For Saturn and Pisces people, this could just be when you're finally doing your shadow work for real, where you're not like, you could be used to embracing your shadow all your life, but you embrace it in a very negative way. And whether that be with the drugs or just binging Netflix and eating ice cream at home, you know what I mean? In whatever way, you can have this beautiful taste in music and wanted to be a musician forever, but for some reason you're just like, I'm over it. Like, before you even begin, you're like, I don't want to do that, right? So it's getting back to reality and having that big reality shock. For Saturn and Pisces people, I think you guys feel it as that, a reality shock of like, okay, you're so talented, you are so amazing and mystical and magical, but what are you doing with that? Are you the gypsy that just lives off of whatever opportunity you get and you kind of float in the world? How can you truly ground yourself to making this power that you have and this talent that you have even better? Because truly you're like let's say Saturn and Pisces that can sing and they just captivate people with their voice, but you know, they only like take gigs when they really need the money, and outside of that they're like, whatever, you know, they just sing in the shower. Like, I don't care about these people. But the thing is, you're channeling, you're healing with your gifts. And you have to really get serious about your gifts, because your gifts do so much for others. They are so powerful in such a magic way that you have to really be serious about your magic. So it could be a very sobering, serious time for my Saturn and Pisces people. But if you come out on the other side really having taken the seriousness not as a downer, but as a time to really reset your reality, right? Really take things much more serious. That's just the only way I could put it. And not like, oh, this is gonna be like this forever. You get to still be imaginative and free, but you also have a little bit more responsibility, and that's okay, right? Because the responsibility truly grounds you into you not feeling like you need to escape all the time, because now you have a place that is just your own. You're building your own sacred space, and that's what my Saturn and Pisces people will be learning. They have to build their own sacred space, whether it's in your career though, you know, and like as that singer metaphor, it's like you now sign a deal to make more music, and you're like, okay, this is my space, the studio is my space, and you go into the studio every time and you keep working at it, not because and not with the knowing that sometimes you're gonna be like, I don't want to be here, this is not what I want to do right now. But you're not escaping, you're facing your reality. And that's what you're going to have to do as a Saturn Pisces. Thank y'all. This has been a long video, but I will be back. Drop some comments of what you want to see me talk about. Follow me on Instagram, n.razzie, where I'm always asking you guys for different questions. I put up reels on the regular, but if you're not following me, please follow me there, subscribe to me here, check if you're subscribed, because I want to have my regular cosmic check-ins, but I need to have a certain amount of subscribers. So let's build the cosmic fam, the soul fam here on my channel. And all of y'all are amazing, so connect with the other people here too. You know, as a Saturn in Aquarius and my Saturn return, I gotta connect y'all. That's another one. So let's truly see, you know, the change in the world, and let's be it, and we can do it right here. You can do it with me. All right, later, y'all.